Happy New Year! It is January 1st, 2021, and my one-word theme for this year is grow. And so we're going to start out the year by building out raised beds. I think I want to start with 12 8x4 raised beds, and I'm going to get the supplies today to build 3 of them. All right, so I ended up getting all of the stuff for just 2 beds because they didn't have enough of these 4-foot boards. So anyway, let's get started. Okay, the beds that I'm making are according to plans that I found here on YouTube. I did not make these up myself. I will find the video and link it down in the description. But anyway, I looked at lots of different videos about different plans for making raised beds, and this was the one I liked the best. For these beds, you need 4-foot boards, 2-foot boards, and 8-foot boards, just 2x4s. Now, of course, the least expensive way to go is to just buy the 8-foot 2x4s and cut them into 2-foot and 4-foot sections. But I bought them already cut at Home Depot because they are precisely the same length, and when I cut it with my circular saw, sometimes it varies a little bit. So it's a more expensive way to go, but it's what I did. Yesterday while I was out here making the prototype, I went ahead and started a fire because there was a debris pile right around here, and a lot of it was wood, and so I wanted to burn it to get rid of it to further the progress on the fire pit. And I enjoyed having a fire out here so much that I thought I would start another one. Of course, I didn't think about it in time to bring, a fire starter with me. So anyway, trying to get it started. All right, to make each one of these beds, you will need 4 8-foot boards. You will need 9 4-foot boards, and you will need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 2-foot boards. So, and you'll need 1, 2, 3 of these 8-foot by 2-foot galvanized roofing panels, and I got everything from Home Depot. Still trying to get this fire started. It rained last night, so everything's a little wet, but I remain hopeful. I will persevere. To join these boards together for this project, we're going to use pocket holes. Screw it together that way. You see? We're going to drill, like here's the other board. We'll drill drills in this way, and they'll come out the end and join this board to that one. So here's how that works. All right, so this is called a jig, a pocket hole jig, and it is made by a company called Kreg, K-R-E-G, and basically it is a guide so that you can drill a hole properly. So here's how that goes. So I've already set the guides. I'm not an expert on this, so just read the directions. This is set to 1.5 because the material that I'm using is 1.5 inches thick. Put it here, kind of eyeball it so it'll be in the middle. Let's see here, it feels a little bit off. There we go. You get your drill or your driver, stick it in this hole. And there you go, easy as pie. You switch it and do the other end. So then you do all of your boards. I think it's 10 boards. You do all of them, both sides. All right, next I need to cut off this metal. It is exactly 8 feet, and generally the 2x4s, the long 2x4s that you get are exactly 8 feet. Even though I took these from a stack that said they were 96-inch boards, they were not. I think stud length is less. Anyway, I think that's what I ended up with, which is fine. It'll just be a shorter bed. But Normally you would cut about 3 inches off of this metal panel, but I need to cut it 3 inches less than the length of the board. So that's what I'm gonna do now. So 3 inches, about right here. So that's a little under 6 inches. I'll mark it on both sides so I don't go crooked. All right. Now I'll use a board as a straight edge to draw a line so that I can cut against the line. Whoops. Okay. Now, I got this handy dandy tool. I forget what it's called, but if I remember, I will put a link to it down in the description. But the wheel in it is for cutting metal. It also came with the wheel for cutting tile and one other one that I don't remember. So I'm gonna cut off this metal panel to the line that I've drawn, and cutting metal's exciting because sparks fly. So here we go. I'm going to clamp it to the table just to keep it from dancing around. I have more clamps at home, but I did not bring them, so I'll just go with the one. Let's see. There we go. All right, now I need to cut another panel for the other side. And so since I just did the measuring, I'm going to use what I cut off of the last one as the guide for where to cut off this one. Oh, there's the Sharpie. And that's that. The next thing we need to do is cut the metal for the short sides. Once again, I want the metal to be about 3 inches shorter than the length of the material. And so there's 3 inches there. And then I'm also going to mark the end of the material because we're going to have to make several cuts on this. The next thing I'm going to do is screw together the wooden frame for the bed. So this is one of the short end pieces, which is nice because I can do it here on the table and I can do it without getting on the floor. So remember, these are pocket screws. We're going to use pocket screws there, so let me show you how that works. So there's a special doohickey that you use to screw it in. I can show you that. It came with the jig. And then these screws that I got are 2.5 inch pocket hole screws, and they're made for outdoor or indoor use. So those are the screws that I'm using. And it's surprisingly easy. So just stick it on there, stick it in the hole, and just gently screw it in. Here you go. step is to screw the galvanized metal onto the frame. And let's see, for some reason, this is not the right size, so I must have measured wrong, which is pretty on brand for me. So let me mark this and get it cut. And I'll save this as a guide for cutting out. Okay. The reason you want the metal shorter than the frame, the wooden frame, is because when you put the corners together, it's awkward to try and screw through the galvanized metal, and it makes your corners not be tight. So here's that. Okay. Now we need to screw on the metal to the wood. And so to do that, we're using these screws that are meant for roofing. Unfortunately, I forgot to get another box of these while I was at Home Depot today. So that is a bummer. So I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I only have 9 screws. So that's probably about enough to do this one frame. So when I'm done with this, I'm gonna have to take a short break and run to Home Depot, because it is not possible to have a project where you only make one trip to Home Depot. It's just physically not possible. These go in really easy. They drill their own holes. Like all right. Isn't it pretty? That'll be the end of one of the garden beds. All right, now I have to take a break and run to Home Depot and buy more screws. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back from Home Depot. The temperature dropped 10 degrees between when I left here and when I got back here. On top of that, I only have 2 more hours of daylight, and because it's gonna get so cold tonight, I need to drain the water system out here at the farm so they don't have any busted pipes. So I've got to hurry if I'm going to get one of these beds done today. Okay, I finished putting it together. It's 4:30, I have 1 more hour of daylight, so let's get it placed. Now the unit's pretty heavy, so if you didn't have far to move it, maybe you and another adult could move it, but I've got to move it way over there. So I'm going to use the tractor. Okay, this next decision is going to have long-lasting implications for the farm. Wherever I put this first bed, that's going to determine where the rest of them go. So, here we go. All right, so now I'm gonna put some of this cardboard in the bottom of the bed, and then I'm gonna dump wood chips in it. I'm only gonna dump one load tonight. My prototype bed I dumped 3 loads in. I'll have to do that another time because I'm running out of daylight.